Well, let's take a look at printing for a moment, because after all, the objective is to be able to print drawings or export 3D models so that we can communicate with people on our team or customers and the like. So printing in MicroStation is as easy as printing in Microsoft Word or Excel. You just simply file and you come down to print and you click on print, and once you get there, of course, there's a few more settings. You can set the scale that you want, and you can either use Windows drivers if you just have your printer connected via normal Windows printer. You can use your Windows driver, or something that's more and more popular is to use the Bentley driver and then go and choose up here, File, select Bentley driver, go and choose the PDF. That's the Acrobat Reader format. You know, there are close to 1 billion copies of Acrobat Reader that can read the PDF files produced from MicroStation. This is something that sets MicroStation apart really from a lot. It's its cooperation with Adobe and in its utilization of the PDF file format. So we'll just pick the PDF and say eventually we want this on a D-size drawing, and then just click print. That's it. And then what we've got is now a drawing completely done in PDF format. We can now email that to someone, or we can give it to a printer, blueprint company, and they'll print them out for us, or whatever we want to do with that document. Now, while we're on PDF, let me tell you something else. And what we'll do is we'll go back to the file we had open, the building. Let's go back to the building for a moment. And there it is. We'll go back to the building and fit to view so we see it. And we'll go back to our illustration way of displaying it. See how that looks? Okay. Now let's say we want to print that, what we're looking at, out. Well, we can do that. We can go to File, Print, just as before, and do our settings. This is the very nice little preview, and we can print it out. Now I think we're still set to our PDF. Let's check and see. File, select Bentley driver, PDF, open that up. Okay, so we know we're set to PDF right now. Now here's an interesting little check mark. Notice this one right here. Print to 3D. So in addition to printing out an image that would go on a piece of paper, if we click this and then say print, and let's put it, that's pretty deep, I think. I'm going to put mine on the desktop in a folder just called Greg Amano. I'm going to save it there. So that's where my PDF, 3D PDF is going. Already exists. You want to replace it? Sure. Okay. So notice what it's doing now. It's actually taking our precise 3D model, all those structural things that were in the two buildings and our little context building, and it's built that 3D model right into PDF. So what we can do is we go to our Start menu and we find Adobe Reader. Now, if you don't have that, just go to www.adobe.com and you follow the instructions. You can download the free copy of Adobe Reader. You want to make sure you have version 9 or later. And then we can just open up that file we just made. So let's open up, and we'll just open that right up. So here's our 3D model that we made in MicroStation, and we printed, in quotes, we exported or printed into 3D PDF format. And so when you open up Adobe Reader, you'll see that when you have a 3D file that you've opened, you have this new menu that pops up automatically, and here's the little rotate icon, and You can rotate right around, see what you've got going here. It's an amazing thing because you can send that to so many people and they can freely deal with that 3D. Okay, back to MicroStation. And we've dealt with the printing and 3D PDF, viewing in PDF. Let's spend just a moment and take a look at some of the things that MicroStation can do with reference files. Now, we've been working in a file that we presumed everything that we're dealing with is in here, but let's go take a look. If we go to File, References, what do we see? Well, we see that this, our active file, now it's called what? BAS1300AE9 shell design. That active file is referencing two other files, East Wing and a West Wing building. And they may be the very same model, just referenced twice and mirrored or whatever. So we can not detach them. They're still detached as reference files, but we can click that little icon and not have to view them right now. So what we're looking at is the only thing that's in our file, shell.dgn, really is the composite, or no, the contextual building that we created the model for. And the others are actually in other files, and they're being referenced. See how I slid that? By the way, while we're here, you notice these little arrows that comes up, and you might think of them as irritating, but what it does is allow you to dock your dialogues in different places. If you just hover with your mouse pressed down over one of these arrows, it shows you where it's going to dock it, and then you just go ahead and dock it. But we don't want it docked, so I'll leave it like this. So I'm going to turn the East and the West Wing back on, meaning the viewing of them. And you notice this one has a magenta box drawn around it. That's because it's the one selected, and I can left click on the blank screen and now nothing's selected. So that's the idea of reference files. Take a look at all of the different kinds of files you can reference. Let's go here and take a look. You can reference any of the CAD files. You can reference 3D Studio Max files, shape files from Esri, ESRI, if you have GIS going. You can IFC, Industry Foundation class files, JT files, Rhino files, SketchUp files, just about every popular format on the market you can reference into your MicroStation composite model. Very strong reference file capability. Now, in addition to those kind of files, which are 3D vector models, we can also reference raster files. The raster files, you know, are like photographs. And in that case, the formats that we can reference are just enormous number of certainly JPEG we know well, TIFF is very popular. There's some geo-coordinated photographs that have a longitude, latitude fixed, and we can bring those in and bring them in absolutely. So we won't spend too much time on the raster referencing right now, but then the final way, the newest kind of reference file are what are called point clouds. Now, point clouds are just files made from a scanner. So File Point Clouds opens this dialog box. Notice all the referencing, whether raster or vector, in this case point clouds, all kind of work the same. We just go and attach. Now I apologize, you don't have a raster, I don't believe, in your issued standard install. So I'm going to use this example here called building.pod, and it was a scan made. Notice before I get off of this, the different formats. You can reference point clouds from that were done with the Regal scanner, Optech, Leica, Faro, Topcon, and so on. Just about any, or just regular ASCII text, you know, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. So we're going to bring in the building pod file. We're going to open that one. Now you notice the tool settings. This makes it so the points are snappable, locatable, and this makes it locked. It's locked or anchored wherever it came in whatever coordinates. But these are two uncoordinated coordinate systems, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to fit the view, and everything kind of disappears because here's our scanned image way over here, and here's the model that we've been working. And that's not a problem because what we can do is move. See, with point clouds, you can use all of the manipulation tools that you can use with any 2D element, or 3D element, or a whole point cloud. So we'll just move it. I just get up there to the manipulation bar, and we can open manipulate as a toolbar if we want, and just pick the move command, and I'm going to go over and click somewhere in the cloud, and I'm going to drag that point cloud over, say I'll put it up here somewhere, and then right click. Now we'd want to do this precisely in the real world, but we're just looking right now. So there you go, and so we'll click here to get rid of the red, and then we can zoom in on this, take a look at it. You see it's a relatively dense point cloud of a building exterior, because you can see it looks hollow inside. And it would be useful, again, for context. And that's what it's used for more and more, like in factory rehabilitation projects or renovation projects, or in a process plant, taking out a piece of equipment, putting in others. Rather than do a 3D model of the whole plant, simply go in and scan it and get a point cloud, and then build your actual new work right inside, erasing points and things of that nature. So that's point clouds. A brand new tool that was just entered in to MicroStation in Select Series 3 that we're looking at here is the ability to import a terrain model. So this fits more cleanly into the civil engineering workflow. Let's take a look at it. Just open the last 3D file that you had, or just create any new 3D file. And let's I'm going to expand the isometric, and we're going to bring in a terrain file. So we'll go File. You don't have an example of a terrain file, so you'll have to just watch this one. We're going to import terrain model. They need to be in the land XML format. That's very standard file format. This is Mesa Park. Came from another project. We just open that right up. There it is. Import that into our file, and as soon as it's done, while we fit the view, there it is. So terrain model now is an element type. It's a new element type in MicroStation. So we can rotate, take a look at it. You can see it. Obviously, it is a 3D surface model, and we can shade it or whatever we like. We'll just do default smooth shading in this case, and you can see there it is. And there's a road going up and a road around and a little building plot over there. So what we can do with these models is then build our building through geo-coordination, the geographic coordination. We can build our building exactly where it is, right on a surface.